I need to go now! This is urgent!
Stay warm. Aim true.
Peace be upon you and God's mercy and blessings. How you all doing, folks? I'm Ashraf Ibrahim. Welcome to a new episode with us today. Insha'Allah, we're going to talk about a weird and kind of funny topic. How do Eskimos handle their bathroom business in the North Pole? Traditional ways that'll surprise you and make you thank God for the bathrooms we have back in Egypt. If you think about these people's lives, living in a world of ice and snow, you won't find a stranger place than this. The North Pole is like a giant freezer. No running water like we have. No fancy toilet paper. But these Eskimos are super smart folks. They figured out how to adapt to these harsh conditions in ways that'll make you laugh and wonder at the same time. Today, we're diving into this with you, trying to understand how they do it, whether on long hunting trips or in their ice houses. Come on, let's get started! But before we jump in, if this is your first time seeing me, please subscribe to the channel and hit the bell so you get all the new stuff. And if you have any questions or comments, drop them in the comments below, and we'll reply as soon as we can. Cool. All right, let's dive into the topic.
So, who are these Eskimos anyway? If we want to understand this from the start, we got to know who these Eskimos are and how they live in the North Pole. The Eskimos, or as they're scientifically called Inuit in some areas, are indigenous people living in super cold northern regions like Alaska, Canada, Greenland, and Siberia. Their whole life revolves around ice and snow. They hunt fish, seals, and polar bears, and they build houses out of ice called igloos, like those icy huts. Imagine it. Snow covers everything all year, and the temperature drops dozens of degrees below zero. So if one of us from Egypt, where we complain about summer heat, went there, he'd say, "Oh God, I'm going to freeze like ice cream." But they're used to it, and that's what made them invent smart ways for everything in their lives, even for going to the bathroom. This isn't just weird, it shows how humans can adapt to nature.
Why is this topic important and surprising? If you're asking yourself why people care about how Eskimos handle their bathroom needs, the answer's simple. It's like a cultural and historical puzzle that tells the story of a people surviving in the toughest conditions for thousands of years. We in the modern world think bathrooms are a given, with water, paper, and all that. But for them, it's a daily challenge. This isn't just about cleanliness. It's about respecting nature and protecting the environment, since they make sure not to pollute the areas where they hunt. Imagine an Egyptian guy going there and saying, "Guys, I need a hot bathroom, not cold ice." They'd laugh and say, "Come on, let us show you the traditional way." It teaches us that life can be simple and effective, even without all the technology.
How did we learn about their traditional ways? Our knowledge of these methods goes way back, starting with explorers and scientists who visited these areas in the 19th and 20th centuries. For example, explorers like Robert Peary or Franklin, who wrote about Eskimo life, described every detail of their daily routines, including what we're talking about today. They noticed that these Eskimos are incredibly clean despite the conditions, and they don't leave traces behind. In modern times, scientists and documentaries, like those on National Geographic, have explained these ways in detail, showing us they're not random, they're thoughtful and respectful to the environment. Let's start with the basics. These Eskimos spend a lot of time on long hunting trips, maybe days or weeks, far from their villages. In that case, no fixed bathrooms, so they use portable containers or simple bags made from animal skins. They do their business in the container, then bury it far from the path so it doesn't pollute the area or attract dangerous animals like polar bears. This discipline is clear. They stay away from the village, respect hunting spots, and cover the traces with snow. Imagine it like camping in our desert, but everything's ice. Now, if they're at home, like in the Igloo, there are no indoor toilets at all. Why? Because any hole in the ice would quickly become a source of cold and smell, and it might attract animals. So the first solution is simple. Head outside, even in harsh conditions. That means imagine the weather dozens of degrees below zero, and you still have to go out. Here we split the cases by weather to keep things organized. First case, if the weather's okay, not too stormy, they dig a small hole in the snow a bit away from the shelter. After using it, they cover it with snow again, like nothing happened. Sometimes they find a rock to sit on like a natural seat to protect them from touching the freezing snow directly. It's like someone saying, "This rock's better than the chair at home." And there's another more basic way, building a barrier from stacked rocks, forming a small wall for privacy and wind protection. That becomes a fixed spot for waste, then covered with snow or buried. In less harsh seasons, they make a temporary wooden cabin outside. It's like a simple outdoor build from wood that shields from wind and snow. And inside it's the same idea, a hole in the ground or snow covered later. This is an upgrade from the regular hole, but with walls for privacy.
The big surprise, how do they clean up after? And now the part that'll shock you most. After finishing, no water or toilet paper like we have. Instead, they use clean snow for wiping. Yeah, pure cold snow, or sometimes soft moss or grass from nature. Imagine it, the snow works great, absorbing and cleaning before it melts. Why are these ways so tough? What makes this harder is that these harsh conditions aren't easy. The cold can cause frostbite in limbs if you stay out too long, and strong winds turn going out into an adventure. Plus, keeping clean is key to avoid attracting dangerous animals like bears or wolves. Scientists say the Eskimos developed these methods over thousands of years, and it's part of their culture that respects nature. There's another challenge. In modern times, some have switched to regular toilets in wooden houses, but in remote areas, they still rely on the old ways. What have we discovered about their culture? Despite the challenges, scientists have found that these methods aren't just practical, they reflect huge respect for the environment. For example, they don't pollute the water or land, which has helped keep the polar ecosystem balanced. Also, in Eskimo culture, this isn't taboo. It's a natural part of life, and they teach it to kids from a young age. In modern documentaries about Inuit life, they show these ways still exist in some villages despite the changes. What can we learn for the future? Scientists still hope to study these cultures more to understand how indigenous people adapted to the climate. With climate change, the North Pole is melting, which might change these methods. Plus, there's interest in developing new hygiene tech for cold areas inspired by the Eskimos. So this isn't just history, it could help us better understand the environment. Wrapping it up, in the end, how Eskimos handle their bathroom needs in the North Pole isn't just traditional ways, it's a lesson in adaptation and respecting nature. From snow holes to indoor buckets, and cleaning with snow, it's full of surprises. To this day, they hold on to their heritage despite the changes. If you have questions about the topic or want us to discuss something specific about Northern cultures, leave it in the comments and we'll try to answer in future episodes. All right, see you in the next one, and don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell. Peace.